Really, game? Really? 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 Oh my goodness. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, guys. So let's get into this topic right now. All right, so all right, let me switch off a different scene right now. And welcome for everybody's here. So the other day we had there was this tweet out, and I pretty much brought the tweet up on my thing. You guys can, in order to see the tweet completely, you would have to full size the screen so that that part of the Twitter box opens up more. Unless I go to that, but I really don't feel like doing that. I'm going to bring up something. So Saturday Night Live made a video. They did a skit, and this skit was on. This skit was brought up by Slasher, who I think he works for ESPN eSports, and the purpose, the joke in the skit was to talk about how nerds in the esports scenes are. Unfortunately, there was a indirect narrative. I don't know if this was directly done on purpose or if this was accidental, but it pretty much came off that while we were doing hip hop, whites and Asians, or let me say Europeans and Asians, were focusing on esports. This relegates us to zero contribution into the entire esports scene for competitive gaming. And that's pretty much what the joke said, and it gives the narrative that we didn't do anything. I made a video called The Ignorance, and it pretty much in the video debunks that entire joke and skit and shows it for what it is. All the different tournament organizers, community and league organizers, champions and players, content creators, and so much that all of these people, black, that make up a large portion of the gaming scene, or at least represents Africa in the contribution of the gaming scene, especially competitive gaming. It also talks about like this idea what esports is. Everyone's trying to make this. Let me not say everyone. There's this narrative that's trying to come off that esports is League of Legends, and it isn't. League of Legends is a part of esports. Esports isn't a part of League of Legends. Like, come on, that's like saying basketball is sports. No, basketball is a part of sports, but it does not represent sports as a whole. So it's the same thing here for League of Legends. And you will have basketball. World football, which is FIFA, is the most dominant sport on earth. That would be what League of Legends is, but that does not discredit the NFL. It doesn't discredit the NHL. It doesn't discredit MLB. It doesn't discredit the NBA. It doesn't discredit cricket, track, swimming. It doesn't discredit any of those. It's just that FIFA is the biggest. That's it, and you have to give props to it, just like how we give props to League of Legends for being the biggest esport in the world. But it isn't esport itself, and unfortunately, the joke kind of made that narrative. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and accuse them and say that was the entire plan, or if that was their agenda. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and just simply say that they just made a joke. They used League of Legends because it's the biggest esport in the world, and it just went sideways. And then it marginalized black people completely. Actually, marginalizes is not the word. It omits black people completely. Like, we had nothing to do with, while esports was being made, we had nothing to do with it. We were too busy doing hip hop. Nonsense. So I made that video which debunks all of that stuff and whatnot. And pretty much the person that I even saw this originally from was Erin Ashley Simmons, which I found out she works for an organization called Cheddar Esports. It's the first time I've ever heard of the organization. I've never really heard of them before. But she does esports content on her site, and she pretty much, let's go straight to the source. So this is how I saw it first. She had quoted Slasher, who Slasher works. Let me see if he works for ESPN Esports. World's #1 esports consultant, insider, and competitive gaming leader. Okay. We all have to market ourselves. I guess that's him. That's how he does his thing, right? So I don't know if he works for ESPN, but he's the world's #1 esports consultant. fair enough. Ashley says, honestly, I don't like the narrative that black kids or black culture isn't a part of esports plus gaming, like it's separate. I know it's a skit, but even sometimes that aspect is negated by some people. And it then breaks down like into a whole conversation. A bunch of people were in here talking about it. Even some people that I saw talking about it who removed their tweet, they jumped in to say some stuff to support Ashley's statement, showing that, hey, look at all of these other black gamers, competitors, content creators within the gaming and esports space. Some of these people I see, they have check marks and so forth, and that's cool and all that stuff like that. So like I said, I made my video to chime in, but I didn't want my video to just talk about oh, Empire Arcadia is black or anything like that. My video literally discusses about everybody else, and what they've contributed. So, you know, the purpose, the thing here is that in order to make this narrative, in order to destroy this narrative, whether directly or indirectly, we need to talk about each other as a unit rather than each other individually. Which this is the funny part. And I'm gonna go to the question section. I'm gonna go into the YouTube chat, see what you guys say. But I just found this funny. So this guy called J. Scott Smith says, we talked about this. I guess he's talking about him speaking to Aaron about it, right? We talked about this. That narrative is tough to shake, partially because we collectively still perpetuate it. I think that narrative is as phony as a $3 bill. She says, yes, we did. It's important. No, it'll be important for the communities to highlight the different voices, perspectives, and etc. That would help. That would help destroy this narrative. So my video literally does that because it shows the different players, the different perspectives that we contribute in, and etc., which would help, right? So I noticed it said one more reply. So I click this one more reply, and Bike Myers says, get 'em learned, my brother and sisters, right? And he posts a video about me, but it doesn't look like they even recognize that video, because I'm looking here, there's a like and then there's a response. So I guess they liked each other's responses as they were talking to each other, but they never liked this. So I guess this got skipped over. And then you see this guy Red Eye. Who's this guy Red Eye? Let me take a look. 100,000 followers. DJ Booth, 40,000 subscribers, no, followers. All of these people chime in on the whole situation, and I've seen a couple of recognizable figures from the competitive scene for black people. I've seen like 2 or 3 of them. One of them removed their own tweet. They tweeted, and then all of a sudden it's gone now. So I guess they can't really get involved in this. And that in itself perpetuates the foolishness. That's the reason why, like, nobody. That's literally why this nonsense is perpetuated. We won't even stand up for ourselves because we're looking out for our own independent interests, and that is why the ignorance continues. There are black people who have mass influence that can make an issue out of this and solve the issue, but I think as a people, all we want to do is talk about it. We're not really interested in solving the issue. And that's what this discussion is about. I'm not only going to talk about it, but I'm going to provide solutions. And let's see where we can go from there. So let's take a look at the YouTube chat. Let's see what people are saying. What's going on, Sting? Danny, what's going on? Sage, what's up? Cornelius, what's up? Danny R, I said already. So a couple of guys are saying something. Really don't know that. That's stupid. It's about to be in the Olympics. Oh, yes, it is. To my previous point, look at our contributions in music. But if you go off the Grammy Award, Robin Thicke, Adele, etc., are the pinnacles of R&B. Yeah, and that's crazy because our contributions to R&B dwarfs anyone's contributions, any other group in the world's contributions to R&B. Yet people who work within or around our circles of R&B, but are not a part of our direct ethnic community, are the ones awarded for the work, um, for the generation of work we have done. So, meaning we can set the platform, we can do 10, 20, 30 years of the work. Somebody outside of our community could come in. They put in their time, don't get it wrong, but their individual time versus our time as a generation and as a people is, you can't equal it. Yet they're recognized and they're awarded for it, and we aren't. And that is crazy. And that exists because we ourselves do not create our own platforms. You will never see Chinese people ask European people to recognize them, validate them, or accept them. They simply go, oh, okay, y'all got y'all stuff. All right, we'll go make our own stuff. The Asians have their own J-pop and K-pop and etc. etc. They could care less if the West wants to do anything that recognizes them. They don't care. They're like, if you do, they're like, thank you, we appreciate it, but we have our own over here. So if anything, the recognition just adds to what they have, and that is what we need to do. That's the actual solution. Aaron also pointed out that we need to highlight other people in the scene. It's not about highlighting ourselves as individuals, but then that comes off as kind of like, that doesn't make any sense, because the solution that she stated or suggested, we don't even do it. So that don't make any sense. But Robin, you there? Let me see something here. Sorry, guys. So Robin, you're still muted.
No, sorry, my
Okay.
phone froze. Okay.
Okay, cool. So your thoughts on the opening points of this entire conversation?
Well, one thing that I'll I'll say,
Hmm.
people, when things like this come out, like with the SNL sketch,
Hmm.
this goes back into my whole thing. If people don't do research, or if people don't have correct information, or even if they do and they still choose to ignore it,
Hmm.
what happens is that allows for things like this to happen. That allows for people to present their opinion or their narrative as if it is fact.
Hmm.
Like, and that's exactly what's happening. If you don't, this is why I always tell people, you need to do research before you form an opinion on something, because of stuff like this. Imagine if, because now, Triforce, there are people who are forming hard opinions about the black people in esports conversation, without even knowing the true history of black people within esports within itself.
Hmm.
So the entire issue is misinformation, and them weaponizing misinformation, because
Yes.
that's exactly what's happening. Misinformation is being weaponized.
Now here's the thing. To me, I don't think this is coincidence. This is way too. This comes off. This comes off way too. It just comes off way too convenient for it to just be misinformation in itself. I refuse to just believe that this is misinformation. This happens way too much for it to be misinformation, and it's constantly happening. It's annoying. Like, why does this always happen? Why is this misinformation always perpetuated and spread? Like, I don't get it. Why don't we stop it? We have the power to stop it, but we don't. Like, why is that?
Main reason why is because if nothing feels like is doing immediate harm to us, we just look the other way until
Mhm.
it's too late.
Okay, and that's true. That's true. We do look the other way, and and then it's already too late. But what can we do? I believe the solution is that we have to we have to. This sounds so cliche, but it's the only. We have to unite. When I made this video, right? I wanted the video that I made serves two purposes, right? For those ignorant to the whole black community, those ignorant to the entire subject matter at hand, they can use that video as an insight to at least get them acclimated to Africans in the community's contribution to esports and gaming as a whole. They literally have something that they can reference to, but I don't think it's going to get it recognized. And that's the sad part, because I'm literally following what Aaron said right here. Aaron literally said that, we need to get more people's perspectives and stuff on it. And I put it out. I literally put it out there. Where is it? I just want to, I'm just going to quote what she said. Yeah, we did. It's important for the communities to highlight different voices, perspectives, and etc. That will help. But I don't see that happening. Let's go to our actual page. This took place on the 27th. Let's take a look what has happened within 3 days from then. 3 days from then, what has happened since that point? And I found out she's an esports commentator or correspondent. All right, so she's talking about Weatherspoon. All right, let's go back. All right, this is the 29th. Wow, this would be a lot to go back on. She's very active on her Twitter. This is the 28th. Okay, it's not that far down. I think this is it right here. Let's take a look here. No, this is somebody else's. Okay, all right, so we're here. This is not far down. So she says shortly after that, you can ask any black kid, many, if not a good amount, grew up either playing a sport, rapping, playing video games, or took another passion. The youth may not remember, but rappers have always been involved within gaming. And that's true. That's very true. Rappers have been involved in gaming. Somebody puts Def Jam, Fight for New York, etc. You know what I also find funny, though, is like this guy Offset. Oh, man. He gets with FaZe. Why? And this is literally pivoting in a conversation. There are so many black talent in gaming that needs support. How come we have no access to our superstars, entertainers, rappers, and people with black people with wealth that can help us? Why is it when black people enter video games and esports, they only focus on non-black players, organizations, and entities? What is with that?
You know what I find unique about that? I want to interject real quick,
Sure.
if you don't mind, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like in America, black people are not as inclusive as other races. White people, they help out other white people. Asian people help out other Asian people. It's like black people are like the only people that are not helping each other out.
Yeah, that's obvious. We're definitely mentioned that. So, and the question is, Caucasian European people can access our wealthy black people and work with them. A team like FaZe, which FaZe is a very successful team. They've made a lot of money. They've won a lot of things throughout their time. Why do they need to work with Offset? They could get anybody else. You see my point? They can get investors, sponsors, everything, but they get Offset. But there are black players, organizations, and so forth that we can't call Offset. We can't call Akon. We can't call LeBron James. We can't call any of our wealthy people and say, "Hey, come help." Take a look at what your people has and see if you're interested in investing. They can't. They literally are. They are literally oblivious to it. They don't know. And sometimes I wonder is it either they don't know or they're not interested in knowing. By remaining ignorant, they can't be blamed for anything. FaZe already has money. They don't need his money. I know, Danny, that's what I'm saying. FaZe already has money, so why do they need Offset's money? And then let's say Offset's not investing the amount of money that is being perceived out there. It's a showsmanship stuff. Like, he's just associating himself with their brand. Why wouldn't Offset go look for a black team to do that with? Why do that with FaZe? Like, I saw like a Instagram video, and he's in the kitchen with them, and he's throwing up gang signs and all this other stuff because he's from the street, he's from the hood. There's another video where he's talking about, oh, video games, man. Listen, esports is the future. No, he's right. Esports has helped a lot of us kids in the hood and stuff like that growing up, keeping us off the street and blah blah blah. Nobody in phase understands what he's talking about. They never went. They're not about that life. So what he's talking about in terms of supporting esports, the organization it's in is completely oblivious to it. They're like, what are you talking about, dogs? Like, do you not see the gaming house mansion we live in? He ain't never lived in that. And none of us have ever lived in that. The closest a gaming house black people has ever gotten is the Ark. And we had to live in Flatbush, Brooklyn. No, not Flatbush. Crown Heights, Brooklyn. In the hood with that. So it comes off as his interests with the team is completely disingenuous. It's just a money-making thing. Like, just keep it real. Just say, listen, I want to get into esports, and I'm looking at the teams that can give me a return on my investment. Just say that. Just say that. Then we understand that this is just money for you. That's it. But don't try to bring the whole culture of what we went through in the hood, raising up, playing Biggie Smalls, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Don't bring that up to them. He over here throwing up gangster, and in the back, the FaZe Clan is throwing up. And I'm like, what is this? And I was so offended by that. I was like, wow, that's crazy, B. That is so crazy.
Gangsters, man.
No, I don't blame them. Listen, his brand helps their brand, so they're gonna throw up. They just doing what's in the best interest of their team. That's not FaZe's fault. That's Offset's fault. That's his fault. And we gotta stop blaming white people for the stuff we do. We're perpetuating it. And then when things go wrong, we blame them. And it's like, but you're perpetuating their system. Yeah, but it's their system. Yeah, we got past that part. We know it's their system. We know they set it up. We get that part. So their system only exists if we perpetuate it. If you stop feeding the machine, it dies. But if we keep feeding the machine and then blaming the machine for running, it's like, yo, this car is a bad car, man. Stop putting gas in it. Yeah, but I need to drive it. No, you don't. You just said it's bad. Stop driving it. Get another car. I don't want to get another car. I like this car. Then how you gonna complain about the car being bad? Then like I don't get this. Like
just like the FGC community, man. They complain about the games that they play. The games that are out. I mean, they keep playing them.
You don't like it? Stop playing the game. Yeah, they need to change it. They don't need to change anything. Stop playing the game. Find another game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this situation is ridiculous, right? I know how hard it is to find people in our circle of wealth, whether it may be entertainers, athletes, and businessmen. It is so difficult for us to approach them. And when we do approach them, and we're turned down. They don't look at what we have and what can become of it. They look at, okay, if you want us to help you, how can we make money off of you? How can you make money off of us if you don't help us? We're the small guy. How can the big guy ask a small guy for help? That doesn't make any sense. Like the big guy has to help the small guy. And we don't do that. We don't help ourselves as a people. Like, I'm going to just keep it real in this conversation. Is there any black superstar rapper or entity that's helping out an established, forget about established, because people are going to say Empire Arcadia is not established, although we are. But so let's use a different word. Is there any athlete, entertainer, musician, business, black powered, black owned, that's supporting any black esports team or brand? Anyone can give a name? Anybody know? YouTube, Discord. $1 billion industry. We can't bring up a single rapper, a single basketball player, a single business. Nobody. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. So the question is, how do we solve that problem? Wes Subrobin, your thoughts on how we can solve that?
Um. Well, hmm, one of the ways that I can think or theorize is that if you do create some form of let's say a black or African or whatever the moniker you want to put to it,
Hmm.
organization or group of organizations that become a collective within esports.
Yeah.
One thing that I say is that you have to make sure that you have especially when it comes to the business aspect of it, you have gatekeeping aspects aligned within the borders of it. Now, I don't really have any examples that I can give off the top of my head to
Hmm.
for an example, but that's one. Because that's how a lot of organizations and movements um, wind up faltering and being corrupted from the inside out is there's really no gatekeeping aspect as a part of it. Like for example, because I even heard you talk about this before. I forgot exactly when, but like in hip hop, the culture of hip hop, um, because of the uh, gatekeepers of hip hop didn't quite do their job. That's why the state of that culture is the way it is now.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I have to say about that. That could help.
And Wes, what about you? What can we do? Does Wes is Wes in the Discord still?
Yeah, he just muted
Yeah, I'm
himself.
still here.
Oh, you are muted. Okay. So what can we do? Because I don't think anyone's oops I don't think anyone's gonna really help us in this scenario.
The biggest thing is I mean what a lot of black people have been doing, but they haven't been doing it consistently. And we talk about this all the time. Working together, but standing your ground. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue is the consistency of doing it. That's a huge issue. It's within our communities
Community. We don't stand our ground. And so here, my question to you is, why don't we stand our ground?
because we don't trust each other when it comes to certain because we don't trust each other when it comes to certain circumstances, especially when it comes to things in the public eye.
And that's crazy. Why is that?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've done business with a few black people within New York City, and I've done things for them for free. And then when all of a sudden, and here's another thing that irks me is sometimes about when black people do things with each other. They tend to always expect things to be done for them for free, and or if I guess for example, I did business with somebody and he promised payment, person didn't pay up,
That's
so
funny
then
because
I spoke.
Cornelius just said in the room, we scared to lose money or what little we have. Why
Mhm.
are we so scared to lose the little that we have?
But the thing that kills me is that okay, if somebody who was like of Caucasian descent came in and offered the same thing, but either jacked up the price or just gave a price in general,
Hmm.
we'll be like, oh, okay, I understand. You got this work. All right, fine. But then when a black person offers you the same thing, you look at them sideways like, yo, my brother. why you can't help me out for why you can't do X, Y, and Z for free or
Exactly.
this
That
rate?
that
You know
that
what I'm
that
saying?
if that is and Dawes exactly like you said, that is institutionalized self-hate by definition.
But here's the thing. I only condone that if it's something of almost equal trade or something that leads up to a potentially good future with each other. Like something that's of substantial, something that's pro bono. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't necessarily have to be money or anything like that. Like, oh, I'll do this favor for you and you do this for me. But sometimes dudes just want to do something for you, and then all of a sudden don't expect to get payment. That's just nuts to me, man.
All right. So here's another question. How? Because I know there are going to be people. There are certain questions people want answered, right? And one of those questions is how does a aspiring esports team, majority black, or even a player, right? How do these players? How can they get support from these other from their own people, rappers and alike? How can they get that support? Who can they get it from?
You know what's crazy about that, man? It's sad, but in order to get support from your own people, you have to go the opposite way, the way this world is. So, for example, a lot of people who sell records, they think that 100% the black community supports these rappers. No, it be the other races, man. They be buying these albums, putting these people on the map,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
When it
when they
blows up, when they blow up, then they claim the black. Oh, he's a godlike rapper. I've been supporting. No, you haven't. You just been listening to his music. You don't pay for the music though.
the problem the problem is that we as a community we're so trendy, it's ridiculous, and we don't even notice it. We think, we don't want to start a trend. We always want to be like part of a trend, which
Hmm.
sucks. And it's the damn truth, man. It's sad. You can stand in line for some Jordans, but we can't stand in line for something more productive, man.
This is really what's the word for this? I'm really bothered by this on so many levels because I just don't see us in a situation like this. Like, and I look at the Saturday Night Live clip, right? This actually offends some people, right? This is offends black gamers as a whole. Where are our champions to speak on this?
I said,
Sorry about that, guys. The power went out for a second. Oh man,
Uh,
yeah. So yeah. What was the last thing you had said, Wes, before I stopped talking?
I said the skit would have been fine if they would just taken out a few things that was unnecessary. And I think, in a certain sense, I think it was on low key. It was probably a little hit piece on particular communities and topics. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when it came to talking about how black people don't really play games like that competitively. How we mainly just play basketball and stuff like that.
Yeah. But so now, like I was saying to people that I don't blame Chance the Rapper for the skit because I don't think he made the skit. I
He
think he
did.
just read. I think he just read from the teleprompter.
He didn't. He didn't. I don't think because a lot of the things you could tell. Honestly, a lot of the skits
Hmm.
you could tell they weren't really his skits because sometimes, if you notice, he was kind of getting out of character. Like he was laughing and smirking, and you could just tell his demeanor. Like some of the skits was just like it wasn't organic to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I could tell it wasn't organic to him at all. I definitely could tell it wasn't organic. I felt, in my opinion, I think he felt like when even doing the skit, he must have said to himself, Wait a minute, I was playing video games growing up. What are they talking about?" So you seems like it's like this doesn't make any sense.
Uh-huh.
And but so our solution is to really get everybody to kind of like come together, right? and pretty much try to help bring awareness to the scene. Who's gonna do that? I look at that tweet by Aaron, and in that tweet by Aaron, I don't see any of the big black esports players and champions and teams. Well, let's not say teams, because there's only like, in my opinion, I'm only gonna go as far as saying there's probably 2 or 3 black esports teams in all of the West that are like, even, I don't want to sit here and say relevant or not, because it's not fair, but that are significant, that have an impact on the scene. One of them is
Oh,
our team. I don't even know the other 2. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt that there are 2 more.
dang.
Huh?
Oh, you just throwing it out there just as a slot holder.
Yeah, because I don't know. And that's sad, because you know how we look for other black players and other black teams, and we can't find any. See what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, there are teams out there, aspiring teams, but they're not established teams that have a significance in the scene, that have done something. They don't exist. It doesn't exist. Not at the level that our team is at. And it's crazy. In Africa, there are few esports teams in Africa, right? That are actual teams. They have the same issue that we have here in the West. Same thing in the Caribbean islands, the whole 9 yards. The only difference is the Caribbean islands. There are more. There are more teams. There are more official esports teams in the Caribbean islands than all the black teams in America.
Oh, I know how you can fix this. Yo,
How?
you still know how to play basketball, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so all right. So what we could do is you could change Empire Arcadia into actual sports team that kick ass on the side in esports. I think that
Uh,
would
I'll
be
do,
good.
I'll do you one better. A lot of black people love 2K. There has to be a 2K team.
No, see, this is what I'm talking about. All that is just perpetuating. It is literally perpetuating the very nonsense that we're trying to fight. Why would we do that?
You know I'm being sarcastic, right?
No, I know you're being sarcastic. It was, what's his name, who comment after.
Same,
Yeah, Sting was,
same, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I thought so. Probably somebody was like, "Yo, good idea, good idea."
Sting thought you were serious.
Yo, I'm gonna
Yeah,
laugh though. I would laugh if there's a team that comes out that says a team that actually comes out based off that idea. You never know.
man.
They're gonna call themselves Ball Esports or some crap, yo.
Baller
Man,
Esports.
I'm talking about Coons, and here I am, Coon. I'm sorry about that.
I mean, it's it. Shoot. I mean, in theory, it is a good idea. It could possibly work, but none of us want to. I ain't doing that. Get out of your mind.
Yeah, I don't even really like 2K like that.
So
General.
I'm gonna put a video, a link in this chat. You guys can check it out. It'll also be at the end of this video for you guys, because I'm gonna upload this to the Empire Arcadia channel for more people to be able to see. I'm really trying to get that last video that we did out to everyone. So here we go.
Yo, it's Evil Jagan.
Jagan, what's up? I was about to close this, but I'm gonna let you jump in and chime in with a comment before we close off. So, and I'm glad you're here, because I wanted to ask you what it's me and Sub Robin, Wes, Ori, and Sting were talking about. What are some of the solutions that we could do to help fight against this perpetuated narrative that we don't even exist in esports or gaming as a whole? And
Oh, I got one other thing too.
okay,
Um, I think a lot of the media that we put out needs to be changed too, like to combat against the media that's basically giving us that stereotype. So, for example,
hmm
anybody who's a content creator that's black, you don't always got to make a funny video or something else like that. You can always make content based off of you being a competitive gamer.
but that's the problem. That the problem. Okay, okay. Let's look at ourselves as if we're in an airline, right? We're taking a flight to Kenya, and the flight's in trouble. What's the first thing you got to do? The oxygen mask drop down. What's the first thing you do?
So put that on.
Do you put it on someone else, or do you put it on you?
No, they tell you put it on
You gotta help someone else.
No, you got to put it on yourself first. If you die, you can't help the other person.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, yeah, no, I was replying to Wes. So my question to you, Wes, is how can we help these other people if we don't help us first? We are established already. We've been at this for almost 20 years with our team. We have a vast community. We're known in the Caribbean, we're known on the motherland, and we're known here in the West. We're a certified Guinness team, the whole 9 yards. We have everything. We've won over 2,000 tournaments. We have 21 world championships, 13 of them from Evo Fighting Game. Some of the greatest fighters in the world ever have been on our team, and some of them, actually most of them, are black. So the question here is, what do we do with ourselves first that can help? By us getting ourselves in a position of power, we can then help others when others will not help. We don't have to depend on anyone. We could just help ourselves. That's it. And once we help ourselves and stuff like that, smaller people don't have to go, oh man, where's our rappers and blah blah blah. As EMP has already done, we've got right now. We go to Africa right now, right? We go to Africa now, and that's what we're doing at this moment right now. And we take the little money that we have in our resources and we help the entire scene with just what we have. So imagine if we had more money, we could do more to help the scene. More resources, more players, expansion of the team in the whole 9 yards. We'll have more to do, but we can't help anyone in the current position that we are in if we don't help ourselves. So the question, I'm gonna repeat the question: what can we do to help ourselves in this situation? We've expanded our network. We're on our YouTube. We're now getting our Instagram in motion. We got our hash tips. We got our Twitter. We have all these things moving. What else can we do? And the only other thing I know that we can do is now that more athletes are getting involved, now that more entertainers are getting involved, and black businesses are getting involved, how can we get in contact with these people? Because for some reason we just can't. We're gatekeeped. And they're caged, not gatekeeped. They're caged, and we're kept out. So like, in the video that I put in the description in the YouTube chat, right? TSM Myth was with George Paul, right? How did TSM Myth get with George Paul? Well, who runs TSM as an organization? It isn't someone black. Okay. Well, thank God. That's why I always rate Reginald. Reginald's the man. Reggie from Team Solo Mid, like, he helps his players, even the black ones. Now, this is an Asian guy from a League of Legends, a legendary League of Legends team in the West that helps with black players on it. You got Daquan, you have Hamlins, and you got Myth. So it's like, that's crazy. How can he have that, right? And he's up in his team, right? And they're the exception to the rule. So the team is oops, I saw that coming. The team is Asian, right? In terms of like ownership and management and whatnot. But they help support more black people than and black players than. This is crazy. That actually makes me mad. That actually makes me mad. Because it's like, this is something that we should be doing, and other people outside who have far more better resources than we are should be doing to help our own. But we don't. Other people are more interested in helping us than we are. That's wild. How can we get to a George Paul and these other guys who wants to help us as a whole? How do we do that? Let me see something.
Well, the thing is, there's not really much else that we can do besides to.
Let me turn you up. Hold on. Hold yourself right there. Let me turn you up. You are low. Go on now.
Yeah,
There you
but
go.
sorry, because I'm on my headset. So
No,
it's
I
like
had you
a
at
little bit.
7. I had you at 7, so you're good.
Okay, so damn that low. Basically what I was saying is, we just got to keep on grinding, putting yourself in the position, to take advantage. So it's an old saying. It's like, you always want to prepare, for the opportunity.
Hmm.
It's better to be prepared for the opportunity when it comes than for the opportunity to come and you not be
Be
prepared at
prepared.
all.
Exactly. But
So
I think we are in that situation though.
with that we're prepared.
Yeah, I think we are prepared.
Yeah. So then we just got to keep grinding. Look at it, it's slow movement, but everybody's numbers are going up. Everybody's Twitters are going up. It's not at the rate of where we're like, damn, like these guys are blowing up, but it's growing slowly. Like, yeah, it's not the greatest, but it's better than one subscriber,
Hmm.
right? I remember a couple years ago the E channel was at 4,000. Now it's at 30 something. So obviously we're doing something right. We got dudes like Markman who are still calling people out, but they're using footage from the Africa trip. So it's not like we're not doing work. It's just that the results aren't coming as fast.
He had Jagan had cut out. The results are not coming as fast as we would want them to. I'll have to co-sign him on that
Yes.
statement. All
Yeah,
right.
here's the thing about living in a world of social media
Mm-hmm.
and the quick change. I was telling my boys about that, and because he started out, putting out YouTube videos, and then he would get like 1,000 views, 100 views, whatever however many views, and I would tell him like, you don't understand like how YouTube and just social media, how people are. It's just fickle. 1 minute you could be like nobody, the next thing you know, one thing could happen that you least expect just get you blown up out of nowhere. You blow up
But
in
we
just
have
a
to.
matter
But
of
yeah, because we. But you have to be consistent though.
yeah.
You
That's the thing. You got to be consistent. It's all about dude. Life is I always tell people this. Life is all about probability. You got to keep it consistent.
Yeah, we do. Definitely, and I have an idea on what we can do, in terms of that being consistent in that regard. So I will definitely work on that after this actual stream regarding that. Outside of
Okay.
that,
Can I
the-
can
yeah,
I hop in real quick?
yeah, sure.
All right.
I'm gonna
So
let you have the last
there's
word.
one. There's okay. Yeah. So there's a couple things, right? That we can all do as like content creators and stuff that it's a little thing, right? And it's if I don't like my own stuff, I can't expect other people to like it. Like
Hmm.
the funny thing, like we'll all complain about like not having enough engagement, not having enough likes and retweets, but how many of us who have social media and people will respond to our tweet, post a comment to our YouTube video, and we won't respond
Yes,
to every single comment that comes in the video. Like, I don't know if you guys notice, but whenever I have a big videos, like the videos that I get that do 20, 30, 40,000,
hmm
on the first week, I reply to every single comment that comes through.
I
Even
do.
now, when I get a
I still
comment,
do that now.
yeah,
I
when
still
I
do
get
that
a
now.
comment, YouTube makes it easy. You can have a 5-year-old video, someone leave a comment, respond to that. Because if you do, that's gonna have that people stick around. But in addition to that, um, how many of us have a team full of people, and we'll put one person from the team will put out content? Why is it that not every single person who's a part of that group or that leaves a like? Like
That's
it doesn't make
crazy.
any sense.
That
If
is
everybody,
wild.
now put this in perspective. If everybody in the from the EMP and my own Discord community were to leave a like, no, I don't even care if they watch the video. Just
Just a like.
click like, close it. You didn't have to put watch time on. It
Just
would be every video I would have 7+ likes.
this is true. We got
So
you know what, to sum what you're saying, we're not aggressive with our network. We're just not.
yeah,
We are not
Nope.
aggressive with our network. And we really got to become aggressive with our network. Right now, okay, so in this particular video, we've had about almost 20 people watching us live stream, right? There's only 6 likes. So
well
I
that's why like I did a live stream before I went to work. Like,
mhm.
y'all want to get this content? I need to see the likes. I need to see the ones. I request engagement. There's people listening, people chilling, enjoying the content. Request engagement because when they leave that like, other people are going to see the and they're going to feel more a part of the community, and that's how you grow. So that's just different stuff that we can do as small content creators. We do some simple thing, and we get in return.
All right, let me close this part. Let me close out this discussion. So I just want to go over the stuff. The reason why we remain ignorant. Because I never mentioned the little. Well, I did. I spoke on it, but I never like went in deep. The reason why we remain in this situation, we remain ignorant. The situation is perpetuated by us is because there are many of us who have the influence, who have the power, who solely are only concerned with maintaining their individual independent agenda. So they don't work. They claim black, but they don't rep. They rep black? No, because repping requires the action. They claim black, but they don't rep black. They don't do anything black. Issues come up, they don't jump in because the people that they don't work in a circle of black people. They work in a circle of other people. And those other people, they don't like when black people discuss these things. When we start becoming self-determined and want to do our own thing, it it offends and threatens outsiders who work with us, which is kind of stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you work with us and then when we want to become self-determined, you feel threatened by that? What do you feel threatened by? Like, I don't understand it. Like, but you're working with us. You should want us to grow and expand, because if we grow and expand by you working with us, you grow and expand as well. But it's almost as, no, let me not say it's almost as, we're not going to give any foolish statements here. It is that the only way we need to grow is through them, not us. And if we try to grow outside of them, then we're a threat. And that's what it is. This goes for whole countries. That this is like the MO. This, like, colonialism is not only a physical thing, it's also a mental thing. So this is the reason why these things happen. We are not doing anything to help each other. Like I said, I looked in that conversation on the whole thing. I have not seen one huge black gaming star say a single thing about the whole thing. They just go, look, that got nothing to do with me. That's got nothing to do with my bag. I'm good and whatever. But what about the little guys that's trying to come up, the next generation of players that will replace you after you're done? What about them? Completely not even a topic as a whole. So, unfortunately, okay, Jay, you was typing something? Okay. Unfortunately, we'll never be...
Sorry.
No problem. We won't be able to solve those issues until we come together. But here at Empire Arcadia, we're going to continue to do what we do, guys. We still network with all of our players, all of our content creators, and everyone in our community. Although our organization is majority African, we do work with whites, we do work with Asians, we do work with Arabs, we work with everybody who is sympathetic to our plight as a whole, and they want to be a part of our community because we actually work as a community. Like, even the issues that have nothing to do with people outside of the team's core ethnic group, they understand that when we suffer, they suffer, and they help. Not necessarily for them helping for themselves, but because we are human. They understand that we're all a part of the human race, and the whole 9 yards, and the fact that I say that we're all actually Africans at the end of the day. But that's another topic for the story. Thank you guys for joining us. If you like what we talked about today in terms of how we can solve this problem by being more aggressive with our network, working with each other, spreading the news, liking each other's content, and putting it out there that we are here, leave your comment below. I will read them. I will like them. I'll even comment back to them, and we'll continue to make more content like this for you guys. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. In 1 hour from now, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, we'll be back for the Royal Couple stream. We'll do some Call of Duty and some other stuff, guys. I'll see you then. Good night.
Later.
See ya.